Today we're going to be going over some fragrances that are so good, I bought them twice. Actually, in some cases, I bought them 3 or 4 times. Hate to say it, but maybe even 5. Now this video was challenging for the sole fact that I'm only covering current fragrances that you can still buy. I feel like a broken record saying that, but if I were able to feature discontinued fragrances in this video, it would have been a lot easier because most of my backup bottles are of discontinued fragrances at this point. I keep a really good eye on just the overall fragrance market, and whenever something that I like is being discontinued, I buy backup bottles of it. And even sometimes if it's just speculation that it might be discontinued, more often than not turns out to be the case. And so again, most of my backup bottles are discontinued things that you cannot buy anymore, but still have backups of plenty of things that you still can buy, and that's what we're covering today. And really, I have no good reason to have as many backup bottles as I do. I don't. I try to justify it to myself, but when I think back, it really probably isn't fully necessary in most cases. And so I want to relay that to you guys. Don't think you need to buy just tons and tons of backup bottles. If you have a real favorite and you want to pick up 1 or 2, it might be, a wise thing, but you don't need to go crazy with it like I have. Now, this first one that I bought a couple of times, 2 or 3, I think I even got some boxed up still. It's Dior Intense. Mainly the idea behind this one was I just wanted to kind of stock up on some older batches. I don't foresee this one being discontinued. I never have thought that it would be, so that wasn't the reasoning behind it. It was just figured, hey, I have the opportunity to pick up some older batches a few years ago, and so I went ahead and did that, and just kind of cool. I like that, the batch collecting thing. It's not for everybody, but for me, it's something that is a little bit fun to be able to hunt that stuff down, and when it does become available, it's hard for me not to pick it up. And you guys know Dior Intense. It's got the iris, the lavender, the ambrette, a little bit chocolatey sweet, this lipsticky, powdery, dusty iris note, and then just a little bit of a fresh lavender accord. I mean, it needs no further explanation. I mean, Dior Intense, it is an icon, and I love it. And so I'm set for life on this stuff, even though, again, it's probably not necessary in the sense of it being discontinued. I don't see that happening. But I do have, plenty of old school juice that I can wear because, as we all know, formulations do tend to change over the years, whether that be to the detriment of performance or the quality of the scent or both. It's something that does happen. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, discontinued fragrances, you know that I have plenty of backup bottles of Dior Homme Parfum, both in the 75 ml variant and the 100 ml variant too, but we're not talking about that one today. This next one is Aquade Dhou Parfum. I've got this one, this is the 125 ml. It looks like it anyway. I can't read the bottom of it. 125. So the click cap. I just showed this the other day, but I have the 100 ml magnetic cap as well. But also, essentially, Aquade Dhou Profumo, in which I have probably close to 7 or 8 bottles at this point. It's few still boxed up. I've got, I think, 1 200 ml still in box, and then 125s and quite a few 75s and special blends. So I've got a lot of that too, because that was one of my all-time, and still is one of my all-time favorite designer fragrances. And so the fear of that one getting discontinued was overwhelming to me a few years back. And sure enough, it did start to look that way. So I bought as much as I could at the time. Obviously, it kind of ended up being for nothing because we have the Parfum now, and if they discontinued this Parfum at some point, I think that they would probably just bring it back in some other capacity again. But I've got enough of this stuff for 3 lifetimes now. And I love the smell. Profumo, Parfum, they're the same thing. It is kind of a smoky, nighttime, mysterious Aquade Dhou. So a little bit more kind of mature, a little bit more classy, and just a lot more interesting than the original Eau de Toilette DNA, which to me these days just doesn't really bring a ton to the table, especially with the big selection of flankers that we have. Parfum, the EDP, the Profondos, I mean, they're all to me, significantly better than that original. But the Parfum Profumo has always been my favorite, not just within the line, but again, just one of my favorite designer fragrances ever. Like I mentioned, this Parfum is new, and I think it's safe to say that it's gonna be around for a while. So most of my backup bottles were for the prior version, and also I ended up getting the 100 ml as well to see if there's any difference between it and the 125 ml. The 125 was the first version of the Parfum, then they came out with the 100 ml. I wanted to see if they changed anything as far as the scent. They didn't. So probably nothing that you need to go out and buy multiple of right now, because again, I don't see this going anywhere. And nowadays you can get it on discounters for a really, really good price. Mostly the 100 ml. These 125s are going to be slowly phased out as stock runs out because they don't make this size. This next one is Roja Parfums Elysium, and this is my OG bottle, and it has seen better days. Thought I had a chunk missing out of this one. I did chip it right here, but it didn't actually break off, but I dropped it on my floor down here, which is it's polished concrete. I mean, there is no forgiveness down here. Should put a rug down, but that still wouldn't help much. This cap is kind of loose. Scratched up to, beat heck because it was my travel bottle for the longest time, and it's about empty. So Elysium, I've got another bottle or two of the Parfum Cologne, and then I've got a couple bottles of the Pure Parfum as well. This was an immediate love for me back when I first tried it. I'm trying to remember. I think this might have been one that I actually got a sample of first, although I can't remember 100% for sure, but either way, it was love at first sniff, and not long after getting my first bottle, I was on the hunt for a bottle of the Parfum, even though it was, more expensive, and then from there it was just, I'd see a good deal on a bottle of the Parfum again, or the Parfum Cologne somewhere, and just went ahead and picked it up. It's nice because I can wear as much of this as I want and not feel like I'm gonna run out and feel like I'm, closer to having to buy another bottle, because when stuff this expensive starts to run low, at least for me, it just gives me a little bit of anxiety, but you don't have to worry when you have enough of it. This one has a ton of citrus and fruits with vetiver, so anything you could think of, grapefruit, bergamot, lemon, a little bit of lime, black currant, all of that stuff. If I didn't say apple, and then a nice heavy dose of this kind of slightly earthy, but also somewhat soapy vetiver accord. And then, of course, some ambergris, ambroxan later on in the scent as well to kind of tie you into somewhat of that blue fragrance category. That's really what it has going on there. So a smell that kind of stands out as far as not being a clone of any other blue fragrance, but it is still within that DNA, and so it might feel somewhat familiar to you. But I find it to be one of the most premium smelling blue fragrances that you can buy. I would say this and Bleu de Chanel are two of the most expensive, luxurious smelling blue fragrances that are on the market. You're paying up for both of them, but to me, they justify the cost well. In the case of Elysium, the prices come down a lot on discounters, usually just under $200 now for full presentation. Sometimes you can get a tester for like 170 bucks. So for 100 ml, really, that's not horrible in this day and age, especially when you consider the retail price of a lot of new designer fragrances, some of which coming in at a 50 or 60 ml bottle. So keep that in mind. Sauvage Elixir is not too far off from this, okay? So just something that kind of puts things into perspective here. This next one is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. I'm sure most of you know it. This one was really, really popular a good couple of years ago. It's, I believe, a 2017 release, but what happened was kind of went away for a while pretty quickly, and then it came back and then started to go away again. I can't remember 100%, but I do know that there was a point where it was starting to look scarce again, and there was a bit of a discontinuation scare again. And so for me, I went and I bought several, like a lot. I have probably too much of this. I could stand to sell a few bottles off, honestly. They're all boxed up still. I didn't overpay for them either. I got them for 40 bucks a piece or whatever it was at the time. And it doesn't look like this is going anywhere. So that's good. And they just released the new Eau de Parfum version, which I need to check out. But Great vanilla scent, vanilla benzoin, bit of ambroxan in here as well. Not a masculine smelling scent. That's where some people get hung up on this one. They buy into the hype, not listening to the fact that a lot of us do try to, run home the fact that it is not a masculine smelling scent, but then they get confused when it turns out to not be the case. So it's not. Very sweet scent, sweet vanilla. Probably more of a unisex leaning scent, I would say, even though it is, I believe, to be marketed for men. I love it though. I think it's great. One of the better affordable vanillas. You start getting into some niche and some high-end stuff and you can be spending a lot of money. It's not the case at all with this one. I believe that it is still usually around $40 to $50. I think I've seen testers go into the low to mid 30s from time to time. So very affordable stuff, and it packs a lot of punch for a low cost. Probably no concern about this one either. Nothing you need to rush out and stock up on by any means. I just don't really see that happening. If it does start to look that way, I'll let you guys know. As usual, when things start to get hard to find, I identify that and let you know on my mailing list and community tab and all this and that, but I don't see that to be the case here with this one, even though it looked like it for a while. This next one is Lomodol Extreme by Guerlain. Ended up grabbing just another bottle of this one to have around. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I thought somewhere I should have like the old looking bottle, the one that is with the red. As you can see, this one is the new looking one. For whatever reason, I don't know if I lost it. I'm trying to think. I'll have to look into that, but I know I have a couple bottles of it here. This one, the newer style of the two, and you guys know the scent anyway, just plum, tobacco, of course, almond, a really unique mixture. It smells so enticing just because of the fact that it is different. You just don't see plum used all that often in men's fragrances anyway, and just that combination with the tobacco and the almond, it's just notes that usually don't really spend a lot of time together. They've conjoined here and it works out in a really good way. It's a good performer. It's a really, really high quality scent as well. And the price on this one has gone down tremendously. $70 right now, 100 ml full presentation. There was a point where this was $120 if you could find it in stock a few years back. It was really in demand. Luckily it's stabilized and the prices dropped. I mean, $50 or $60 almost. So definitely really, really cool. I don't really see this one going anywhere either, at least not anytime soon. I hope not, but you never know. At least something to keep an eye on if it's something that you do really enjoy. And if I didn't mention this already, I am going to drop links to everything down below to discounters. If you're wanting to do some shopping of your own, you can hit those links and check them out there. Let's go for a nice cheapie up next. We have Rasi Howis. It's that beautiful plum, apple, bergamot, watery note, ambroxan-based scent. So plum, again, I did not plan that out, but yet another scent that uses it. Again, they're few and far between, but when it is used, I mean, it just, usually it's the star of the show and it makes them stand out. Kind of like, I guess you could say, oud, iris, even violet leaf. Those are a few notes that come to mind where when they are used, they stand out. You can use a bergamot or a musk or a cedar wood or whatever, and typically in those usage cases they more or less kind of blend in, but there are a few notes like the ones I listed off where they really kind of take over the scent, and that's kind of what the plum does here in this one. Nice sweet fruitiness, but still plenty of freshness to go around in this guy. Same thing here with this. There was a point when it was in real high demand, discounters were carrying it for $50 or $60. If you could get it in stock, it's down to $20 now. I've seen it for like 19 before. So really, really stabilized pricing here. Why? I would wager to say because of all of the flankers now. For the longest time, it was just Rasi Howis, 2015/2016 release. And they didn't start putting out flankers until like last year, the year before. Now they're pumping them out like crazy. The more they put out, the lower it dilutes the price of the older versions. And so this one is just bottom of the barrel cheap now, which is awesome. Makes it readily available for anybody, really. I mean, $20 is more than reasonable for something that performs this good. But kind of what I was saying though, I ended up picking up another bottle or two just because of the uncertainty, and it was cheap, you know, relatively speaking at the time. So I've got a few to go around, not worried about it at all now. I don't think they're going to get rid of this stuff, but you know, for the price, hey, have another one on hand. If you end up burning through your bottle or something, or somebody, you know, borrows it from you, you got another one to go. And at this price point, that's not a bad idea, I guess. You know, and something that's this affordable, you could throw in your vehicle too. It's not a good idea to keep stuff in there as far as longevity of the scent is concerned, but when it's 20 bucks, I mean, I have a bottle of Dylan Blue that's been in my truck for years. That is still good, but it's saved me a number of times when I forget to wear something. I spray it on and I'm good. You know, it really has saved me multiple times. So, you know, when you can get something for a good deal, sometimes that's the way to go. If it ends up getting ruined, not the end of the world. And we're going to finish this video off with Dior Savage. It's the Eau de Toilette. Had never had any worry of this getting discontinued either. What I was after was just a couple more 2015, 2016 versions, batches, I should say. That's what these are here. I believe these are all somewhere around there. Just kind of basically that OG Dior Savage era. Just because I was a little bit concerned that at some point they would reformulate it, and to be honest with you, I have not tried any new Savage EDT, so I don't know if they have, but this was quite a few years back, and I figured, hey, it's one of my favorite fragrances. Yes, Dior Savage EDT still is a favorite of mine. I'm going to pick up a few extra just to have. It's that OG batch that just performs like crazy on me, and I didn't want that to be diluted in the future, so now I've got enough really to last me for as long as I need. So again, no worries about that going anywhere. It's just that was the reasoning behind it. Savage EDP, Savage Parfum Elixir, they're all great options to buy in 2025 as well. Savage EDT is one that, you know, I would maybe still recommend to people depending on really what their true goals are. For me, it's a favorite, but you could also argue that maybe some of the flankers would be better purchases. Again, something where you want to go check the stuff out for yourself and come up with that solution for you. Something to keep in mind. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Fragrance is so good that I bought them twice or more, 3 or 4 times. And like I said, discontinued fragrances would be a whole different story. And sometimes I think maybe I should do a video on that. Just discontinued fragrances, but I don't know. Let me know down below. Do a video on discontinued fragrances or not, you know, because it can go both ways. Some people might want to see it. Other people might not because they can't buy the stuff. So I want to know, you know, would you like to see that or not? Like I said, I'll drop links to everything down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.